Hello everyone, my name is Paula Alejandra Castillo Beltran. I'm from the course English Phonetics, and today I'm gonna make the video explaining what's the difference, the meanings, and the characteristics in specific about phonetics and phonology. First of all, we're gonna start with a little bit of introduction. What we're gonna see in this presentation is the definition of phonetics and phonology with examples and the characteristics. Then we are going to see articulations involved in the sound production and the places of articulation. First of all, what is phonetics and what are their characteristics? What I would say that phonetics is the representation on how the system of articulation works from our inside. So it explains which of each place makes the work and which tool we're using in our voice, in our voice system, which element we're using to speech and to articulate the sound. So, for the phonetics to study the creation of the words in the system, it takes account the places of the articulation, um, how open and how much air are coming from your lungs, and how open or close is your glottis. That's what I would say. Now, phonology, on the other side, explains more the rules that your system of the creation of the articulated sounds, how it needs to be created, how the sounds needs to be created depending on the environment and the context that the sound is produced. For example, I would say that phonology it's involved in the case that we're explaining a subject in front of our classes and somehow we start getting nervous and somehow we're starting these feelings, then our voice is gonna get a little bit exhausted first at all, so there is not gonna come too much air in our lungs, and then after that we're gonna be like shaking, our voice is gonna be shaking because we're gonna be nervous, and some of the words that we're gonna explain are not gonna be the same way as it will be if we're talking fluently. So what I believe phonology does is also to it helps to understand the feelings of the speech the speakers and his intentions. So if I'm fluently talking to you, if I'm moderating my tone of voice, if I'm letting the air coming through my lungs in a correctly and properly way, because around my context it means that I'm comfortable talking with you. But if I feel like all the time I'm shaking and my voice is vibrating too much, it means that I don't have the control of the air that is coming through my lungs, or I don't not pronouncing well the sounds of the articulated sounds. So I will phonology. What the difference is between phonetics and phonology is that phonology studies the rules that are coming in our system, the rules that how we speak, how the comments are coming from at the time that we speak. But what does phonetics is that it studies how the words or the actual sounds are coming from our inside, how the sounds are coming from our articulated system. Okay. So now that we're talking about articulated system, I would like to talk about the articulators involved in the sound production. So now we're going to talk about the speech production and what does involve. First of all, involves three essential parts: the lungs, as I told you, how much air comes in through my lungs, and how open is the glottis. For example, if the glottis is open, that means that the air that is coming through my lungs, it's gonna be more like massive. But if our glottis is gonna keep closed, that means that there is not much air in our lungs, which means that if the glottis is closed, we're gonna do voice words, voice sounds. But if there is a lot of air in our lungs, we're gonna do voiceless sounds. Okay? If we're gonna do the example, for example, the little p. P, we see that our glottis gets farther here. So it means that we're there is a lot of air coming through our lungs. But the letter P doesn't doesn't make a sound well, right? As for example, the little sh, speech, P. Let's make another example. The letter K doesn't have any sounds inside us. Keep, keep. It just you see as EEP has like a backwards keep. But for example, if we use um, the letter B, basketball, we see that we use the B a lot, basketball, between the letter keep. So make the exercise at home and you let me know. So, as I was saying, the respiratory tract is the most important system adapted for the speech production, and the results will depend on how our body articulates the muscles. If we open our glottis more or we close it more, if we make our tongue go backwards, or if it's blocking the air, or if we're gonna speak like with our tongue like in a proper way. The way our lips are going, if they're going up, like they're open, they're closed, they're touching, or they at the moment to speak, they're going directly straight. Okay, so we need to take account of that. The places of articulations are the places that are where is the sound coming from the place. As we said before, the these are this is the articulation system. These are the tools that we are using to produce the sound. But where is the sound coming from? It could be coming from the glottal, back in the glottal, could be coming from the velar, it could be coming from the palatar, could be come from the post alveolar, alveolar itself that is only in the front. It could be coming from our lips. We're just using our lips, Bible, and then we could use our lips and our teeth, labiodental, and then we're just using our teeth. Okay, so I'm just gonna do a few examples. With, I don't know all of them, but for example, I would say one of the velar could be the sound of the W, wheat, wheat. It's when our tongue blocks the air in our glottis and doesn't make air come through. So it could the tongue is placed right in the back, all in the back of our system. That will be velar. Okay. Then we have, for example, the letter D. D, as I will say, is post-alveolar. Why? Because our tongue is coming up all the way in the front, in the post-alveolar, and D, D. And we're using kind of our teeth over there. Okay? Bilabial, as is common, for example, the sound of the letter M. M, I'm using both of my teeth. For example, P. P, I'm also using both of my teeth. P. P. Okay? So these are some examples, and these are the places of articulation. Remember, the places of articulation are the places where the sound is coming from, and the articulation system itself, it has the tools to make the sound. Okay, that will be all for today. This is a little recapitulation about what did I learn in the first unit of English phonetics, and this is what we got so far. I hope I'm doing a great job. Again, my name is Maria Alejandra Castillo Beltran. I'm part of the group 73 of the class of English phonetics, and see you soon.